Don't forget, as we get closer to Rump Chat time, to be sure to visit with Jesse Knudsen in the back of the display area for an opportunity at Rump Chat merchandise, unique and specific to the podcast. Don't fall for the off-brand knockoffs at the door. He'll get you fixed up. See him early. As we make ready for another exciting day right here. And the moments to come. Right here inside the Cinch booth.
Going to come out. It's okay. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Rump Chat, Day 7, coming to you live, in person, and via Spotify. Right here, we throw it over to two guys who will carry us through the next little bit. Insert disparaging comment about each one of them here, because I'm kind of out this morning. Hello, men.
Jacob. Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 30,042.
Yeah, the NFR has officially been going on for the last year and a half.
Yes. Sorry, my voice is a little out. It was crazy last night during the rodeo as somebody hit a transformer outside of the Thomas and Mack, and it was just enough to pop the power to everything in the building, and everything had to reset. Amp racks for sound, lighting rigs, all that stuff just doesn't come on with the switch. So
that really happened? I didn't know if it was the old it got hit by a pole thing.
No, it really did. Somebody hit it outside. But, yeah, and then I learned that, I guess I never paid attention, but Thomas & Mack does not have LED lights. Those do go on and off on a switch. They are old mercury vapors that are shuttered. And those take about 15 minutes to go completely off, cool completely down, and come back on. So that's what the holdup was the old mercury vapor lights.
I tell you what, though, it was pretty awesome, I thought, because at the Mirage last night, well, first, when the feed goes out, if you go to any watch party and the feed goes out, people get upset, like in a hurry. So I don't do, as you all know, I don't do anything with computers or tech or cameras. And this guy, this old rancher guy, like the feed goes out, and I'm standing there, and he looks over and goes, "God dang, you better get to doing something. I come here to watch the rodeo." Like I, Justin Rumford, like I know anything about tech that I'm going to go flip a switch and bring it back on. So I did 20 minutes last night of stand-up comedy, and it went really good. It was a blast. I had a few drinks before the rodeo, so it kind of worked out pretty good. But We give away some Pete Card T-shirts. I met a lot of interesting people. So the 20-minute downtime, it really didn't affect as far as like the watch party. Everybody still had a good time, but the memes last night on Facebook, I was so ready, but I had to go on stage, so I wanted to be the first one, because as soon as it went out, I thought I've got the perfect idea, and it was going to be the Clark Griswold one. By the time I get done talking, it was already posted 3 times. So I mean, I put one, but some of the memes from last night are pretty good.
Let's throw up one of them, Mike, that Rump made. So when you see this, Rumford made these, so that's good.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
Wes
did.
Whitaker made them.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, Wes. That, of course, is obviously, that's John Payne, the one-armed bandit, who lost his arm in an electrical accident. Okay, just in case
he
hasn't been around rodeo in the last 30 years. What's the other one? That's my favorite. So in case you've never seen Tommy Boy, why don't you walk through this scene?
Now let's see what happens when you drive in with the other guy's brake pads. You're driving along, now the kids are yelling in the back seat, I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy. Not now, damn it. Truck tire. I can't stop. No. In comes the meat wagon. And the medic steps out and says, oh my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. Blah. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies, and to me, it doesn't make any sense. I've watched that a few times. But that line when he catches it on fire, that's what I was seeing in my mind last night, because
everybody's like, oh, how much is the PRCA going to fine the Thomas and Mack?
I think that's hilarious, because I think the fines are stupid. The fine sheet today has... Yeah, but if you don't wear your PRCA sticker, you get fined $1,000.
I don't know about that. But most of the fines, you have to have some sort of control. Otherwise, you don't. They're contestants. No offense, but they're not all smart as a whole.
You put on a very serious rodeo.
It is.
I'm not saying that.
It has to be. You have to have control.
Okay, so is it control when a steer lays down in the chute?
No, that resets. That's a judgment call, and the judge is standing on the back of the chutes.
Shut up,
resets he stops the time. We went over this.
Okay, I got the fine sheet right here from last night. $1,000.
We're waiting.
$1,000 fines.
Tick tock.
Now you're making me nervous.
Tick tock.
Okay, here it is. It's for real this time.
Oh, Decatur.
9 people got $1,000 fine for not wearing PRCA stickers.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
You are making this up. You're so full of shit.
No, I'm not. Look right there.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right, now I believe you. No PRCA patch. Hunter Cure. Rowdy Parrott, Clay Smith, Brady Minor, Riley Minor, Ren Richard, Brittany Tanazi, John Harrison, American Hat Patch.
Hey, John.
But John got it removed. He told me already.
John Harrison.
He got his fine waived.
Did you get your fine waived? We actually have a rule at the booth. We need you to actually take your shirt off.
No, don't.
And how about a round of applause for my man Johnny Harrison, the rodeo clown at the NFR. Last night when everything went bad, we finally did what we should have done a long time and send in the clown.
Send in the clown.
And I tell you what, I'm proud to say that he's the second best clown in pro rodeo. I tell you what, I appreciate him. I'm glad he's got his first clown of the year buckle. I mean, I remember the first through the 10 that I got in a row. But anyhow, let's move right along.
Let's get our first guy up here. Today's rodeo of the day, Rodeo Carolina, WCRA Rodeo, brand new. Let's bring up the Chief Executive Officer of Finance, Marketing, and everything. No, he's our dear friend Scott Davis, everybody.
Check. Oh, it's on. Thank you.
Scotty's everything, WCRA, and we've been partnered up over the last few years, RümpChat. We love doing your events.
Absolutely. It's the funnest week in South Texas
It is
in
awesome.
May.
I
Most
love
fun
Corpus.
week. Not funnest week, most fun.
Most funnest. Most funnest.
No, it's awesome, and this is also a new opportunity to reach East Coast people with
Yeah.
this rodeo they don't see a lot of rodeo. So it's there's going to be multiple positives come out of this, not just putting lots of money in the contestants' pockets, but
Right.
also reaching out to a different audience.
Well, we've been pretty fortunate in our partnership with PBR. We've gone to Chicago, we've gone to Green Bay, just trying to expand the opportunity for rodeo. And if you look at the East Coast, I believe, is underserved. I mean, there's organizations like IPRA. Well, they have half as many rodeos as Pro Rodeo, 300 rodeos a year, but largely those rodeos are east of the Mississippi. If you put dots on the map and one's blue and one's red, there's not much crossover. But 300 rodeos a year over there, but they don't have many large payout rodeos. So through the PBR, we were introduced to the venue, the Tryon International Equestrian Center, which I understand it's like 1,600-acre facility, sort of very well known in the hunter jumper dressage, and but it's like Disney World for horses. They've got hotels, restaurants, yada yada, right?
That's awesome.
And they've never had a rodeo, and they said, well, if we're going to have a rodeo, we want to have the richest rodeo east of the Mississippi. And so we said, that sounds like a great idea. Where do we start? And so anyway, we landed the deal. We're partners on the event with the venue and with the PBR. We're going to do 3 perfs out there. We're going to do it in October. Total payout, $400,000.
Damn.
No entry
400.
fees, to be televised on CBS, broadcast television. And last time we did an October event, it was the Women's Rodeo World Championship, aired on Halloween in a post-NFL window on CBS and got like 2.3 million viewers. So, that's the thing that we're trying to do. Sometimes less can be more. We can have 4 to 5 rodeos a year, put them on network television, try to make them pay as much as we can, and try to expose the sport to as many people as possible.
And speaking of television, if you are on Christmas Day, if you are tired of your family, you're tired of your aunts all fighting in the kitchen, you're tired of your Uncle Ed doing the old pull my finger joke, you can turn on the
CBS.
Cowtown on CBS, the Cowtown Christmas Rodeo
That's right, 1 o'clock
on
Eastern.
Christmas Day.
Yeah. So this will be the second year. We did close to 1 million viewers on that broadcast last year. Interestingly, CBS was pretty impressed with that. I mean, Christmas is on Sunday this year, and NFL rules the world, right?
Sure.
So it doesn't matter what you have. If it goes on television, it goes on before or after the NFL.
Correct.
On Sundays, right? So I believe we're in a pre-NFL window there, but so this will be year 2 of trying to establish a Christmas rodeo on TV on Christmas. So we're pretty excited about it. And the fact that we got that hour and it's on a Sunday
That's
is a
huge.
pretty big deal.
It is, because usually that's NFL pregame shows.
Yep.
And because I'm always jonesing to get the games going,
Right.
And that's actually perfect timing.
Yeah.
I want to call it out. Like, he was on the other day, but I am calling it. Everybody's been asking me about it. I do believe. I'm almost willing to bet money. $1 million is going to go to R.C. Landingham this year
In Fort Worth.
in Fort Worth.
So how much are you willing to bet? Because we got to pay him. So we could maybe offset
More
part of that with this wager.
I tell you what I'll do. I will buy everybody dinner on Maury Tate's credit card.
Yes.
But do you have your card on you? Okay, yeah. Well, let's say up to $2,500. How about that?
Up to 2,500. So no, real great point though, right? What a better news line to be included in that Christmas Day broadcast than a guy winning $1 million, right?
That would, think about it. Excuse me. All the people sitting at home, like you said, they got the TV on the background. They've already opened gifts. Usually I'm going to say 11 o'clock because that's
Or if you have
Central
kids
Time.
by 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you're sitting around, lunch isn't quite ready yet. That's going to reach a lot of people because they're going to be searching for, their NFL game,
Right.
their pregame. And all of a sudden they're going to go, wow, look at this bareback rider get his arm jerked off. This is cool. Wow, hey,
Right.
kids, look at this.
Ho, ho,
This
ho.
is cowboy stuff. That's what I love.
Right.
I love walking in to places I've been, cities, whatever, and a sports bar.
Right.
And all of a sudden there's a rodeo on at lunch, maybe on a random day. But I'm like, I just think, wow,
Right.
we're actually reaching people. And then I look around to see the people that have nothing to do with the Western lifestyle, and they're just captivated.
Absolutely.
And it's a huge opportunity.
Well, and I think,
Congratulations.
the Cowboy Channel has done wonders for the rodeo industry, not for Rumford, but for the industry in general. No, I'm kidding. So, but seriously, you have the Golf Channel, you have NBC Sports, which is the cable affiliate to the Golf Channel, and then you have NBC, where most of the larger tournaments are aired, right? Or Sunday's finale anyway, right? And so we believe that network television is a piece of the media puzzle for our sport because we need to be on in the sports bar. We need to be on in the airport bar, right? We need as many, if someone in our sport becomes an instant millionaire, we need everyone humanly possible to see that. So we can pick up the fringe viewership and generate interest and participation and all of that, right?
100%.
How does that? So for the $1 million though, what we were trying to figure out this other day. I couldn't remember. Riley Webb's had a chance. Michelle Darling had a chance.
Riley Webb and Tacey K. Webb.
Tacey K.
Those are the two that have had an opportunity since we officially announced the Triple Crown.
Well, didn't
we
Michelle
had five
Darling, though?
5 other people win 2 in a row: Derek Kovaba, Wyatt Denny, Garrett Tanazi, and Joe Mattern. One other, can't think of it. But since we said, can someone win? And that's the origin of the bonus. We said, these guys won 2 in a row. Like, what do we do if they win 3? And I mean, surely it's going to happen, right? And look, RC is riding lights out right now, right? And there's not a better human being on the face of the earth. He's capable as an athlete. I'm praying that, he doesn't get injured here or something really.
Sure.
Because if he doesn't, I'm with you, Rump. Like, I'm putting my money where yours is because he's going to come to Fort Worth and leave a millionaire.
4-day turnaround because Cowboy Christmas in Cowtown at the Coliseum Rodeo is the 14th through the 17th. We get on here on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th to recover, and we're rodeoing on the 14th.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, look, we've always said, people say, what is the WCRA? And we say it's the fastest path to the most money on the largest platforms possible, right? So, for a guy like RC, I mean, the guy's been around a while, right? He's probably riding right now as well as he's ever ridden. He's college world champ. I mean, he's a contender, right? But he's riding better than he's ever ridden, so this path in 3 events, he becomes an instant millionaire. Fastest path, most money, CBS, network television, right? So
what are the odds that being on CBS, you can get Jim Nance and Tony Romo to call rodeo?
That would be really cool, right?
Well, Tony,
I hadn't thought about that.
I'll text
I
Tony.
kind of sound like Tony. Be like, oh man, right here, this guy's gonna get his head kicked off.
On a total side note, I think I think he would do a great job because he does great at football. But
He does. Like, I've never really heard a guy do it like that, right? Like, he's telling you what that quarterback is thinking, and you're like, how does he think that fast?
And it happens.
Right. Yeah, and he's like, he's going to throw it to this guy over here in the flank, and watch this.
Yeah.
Hut, boom, touchdown.
It's
And you're just
amazing.
like,
That's why they paid him $300 million and sent a jet to his house to pick him up.
right?
Oh wait, I gotta
Exactly.
fit this golf tournament in. Okay, Tony, whatever you want.
Yeah.
$300 million just to talk.
That would really be cool, guys. We should look at that. And hey, maybe if we got an instant millionaire in December, it helps change the games in instances like that. And I think if you look back outside of the PBR, who awards their world champion $1 million, you know, how many other instant millionaires, the Great Rodeo, the American, if they've had it 7, 8, 9 years, I'm not sure how many, but I can only think of Richie, Wade, Kayake, this year won $2 million, right? But so instantaneous millionaire in the rodeo industry, not more than 3 or 4.
But, I mean, look at this over the last 10 years. I mean, Maury, you've been around for 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts.
Right.
The money that's in this industry now.
Right.
And it's awesome. Doesn't matter where or who it comes from.
Sure.
It's going into Cowboys' pockets, and Cowgirls. That's all that matters.
Oh.
And you guys are a huge part of that. We've gotten to witness it. I don't know. What are you doing in October? I don't know. I might have the dates free.
Well, I know he's busy
I wonder who's,
next week.
Wonder who's
Ashley wouldn't let him do
wonder
it.
who's hiring.
I don't know. I know one thing I'm doing in October. Going back to the Cow Palace and harvesting rice with my friend Dennis. So
there you go. Well, so all the RümpChät East Coast listeners,
Yeah.
you know, come see us in October.
Hell yeah.
Who's the stock contract for Rodeo Carolina?
You know, so we have a livestock supervisor. Our good friend Scott Pickens is serving as the livestock director, if you will, similar to a Cody Lambert role at PBR.
Sure.
So we'll take them from multiple guys. It'll be interesting to see what we get done out east, right? Especially with the Bears and the Bronx. But Pickett and J Bar J always have supported us since we kind of got started.
Yeah, they're Remuda.
You know, and when we have a 3-perf rodeo, we need like 30 bulls. Well, you can dial the wrong number and find somebody with 30 bulls, right?
True.
So it's hard to spread it around when you don't have 20 days of rodeo that everybody can get a straight load of outs. So it's not really about who we like or don't like. It's like who will bring 2, you know?
Yeah.
And so anyway.
You know what's cool, though? I was just reading on the stats that it's actually 200 miles closer from Stephenville, Texas, cowboy capital of the world, to Rodeo Carolina than it is Salt Lake.
Isn't that crazy?
I never would have thought that.
We're literally in a meeting. You guys know Bobby. But nobody really, I think, knows how sharp Bobby really is. But, like, the middle of the meeting, he's Googling it. We're on a conference call. He texts me. He's like, it's actually 200 miles closer to North Carolina.
The more you know.
Right? Well, and so for him, you know, I guess he always counted the miles. He certainly counts the pennies. But even when he was riding bareback horses, you know, he's like, it's actually closer to the cowboy capital of the world than Salt Lake. So we're excited. The venue's excited. This place, I mean, Google it if you're listening to RümpChät right now. Tryon International Equestrian Center. It's gorgeous.
I'd
you
love
know,
to see
and
it.
these are the type of places, their sponsors aren't, you know, Joe's Tire Shop. It's
like
Rolex.
Rolex.
Yeah. I mean, and those are the
That was
things.
weird.
Yeah.
That's right here.
Those are the things that our sport needs. Our sport needs exposure to those types of brands, you know, and we're just trying to do that, you know,
Well,
and having fun and making instant millionaires. And I really do hope we could spend $1 million advertising on RümpChät or other Western
That's
lifestyle.
not a bad idea.
yes, you could.
Or other Western lifestyle podcasts and publications and so forth.
Don't waste
But
your money with
if
anybody else.
RC were to win the Triple Crown, then that would do just what Richie did for the American. You know, I mean, a guy actually achieving the bonus will be worth 10x what you could spend trying to advertise.
Have you seen the movie Semi-Pro? You remember
Where
when
do you cash that check?
where he's like, if you make the half court shot, you get a check, you get $10,000, and he makes it. And he's like, who has that kind of money? In the back of your guys' mind, you're like, well, if RC doesn't somehow, where are you gonna have a big check?
Bobby quoted Semi-Pro. He's going to have to take it to the big check
Big
bank.
check bank.
Yep.
$1 million.
Right.
So we're excited. We appreciate you guys partnering with us. And again, Cowtown Christmas Rodeo next week, 14th
Worth.
through the 17th. Fort Worth, Texas, which is the new Nashville, they're saying.
Right.
That stockyard
No doubt.
is nuts. Trust me. It's crazy.
If you haven't been to Fort Worth in 5 years, you should go. Get your wife, get your kids, go down there for the weekend.
Different.
Oh, way different.
So you got that. Check it out. 1 o'clock Eastern, Christmas Day on CBS. Rodeo Carolina coming up next October. And we thank you guys for coming on.
Absolutely.
WCRA, remember, the fastest path to the most money on the rodeo's biggest stages.
There you go. You changed the end of it, and it's actually better than mine.
Oh, well, write that down.
Hey, thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.
Scott Davis, everybody, WCRA. Let's give a round of applause. Merry Christmas to you, Dylan. Oh, look, she's not. Is she listening to a past episode? All right. Now, Rump, I'll have you introduce the next guy because I'm getting hoarse.
The next guy that's been on the show one time and had an amazing response. Me and this guy, we've loved each other. We've hated each other. He's fired me several times. I wrecked many of his vehicles. I worked for him and had a time of my life doing it. And roped calves, Mo Betta shirt guy, the man, the Maury Tate. Come on up, Maury. He had a lot of people.
I kept his notes from Denver.
You did?
Yeah.
And Maury's kind of scary. Now remember, this doesn't all have to be about me, Maury, but
it does.
We've had so many Mo Betta days and we've had a lot of people even say, man, you got to get Maury back on, man. Get Maury Tate back on. And I tell everybody, Maury's claim to fame, besides being a great roper, was revolutionized. If you watched rodeo from the 90s when Fred Whitfield and everybody was rocking the Mo Betta shirts.
The tie-down matches they used to have.
The Mo Betta rope
tapes.
And so Maury I will give him credit. He thinks outside the box, does a lot of different things, always got new ideas. A lot of us have got started at the Cody Night Rodeo where he's been the stock contractor since 2005, which 2005 was the best year ever for the night rodeo, and that's weird because that's when I was there for the first time. But just a cool guy. I've been talking for 5 minutes. Maury, we're glad to have you back on.
Well, thanks for having me back on.
So I wanted, like I said, this don't just have to be about me, but
yes, it does.
The Cody Night Rodeo, it truly is. We were talking to our buddy out there who's 16 years old, rodeo clown. You've got to do and see a lot of stuff. And one of our other, we're going to get him up here too in a second. One of our other Cody Night Rodeo alumni is the greatest bullfighter of all time, Dusty Tuckness, who's here. We've never told this on RümpChat. When we think about bullfighting, I want you to talk about when Tuckness first came around at the night rodeo.
Well, my first year, I'd hired Dusty. I'd never seen him fight bulls or didn't know him, but I knew he was a kid from around there. And Rod Smets had this kid that he was telling me how great he was, and he was going to be the next great bullfighter, and he was from Texas. So I hired him, and I thought, well, maybe this kid from Texas can help this kid in Wyoming and, help him and we can get by. And after the first performance, I realized who was going to be teaching who. And I fired that kid. Remember, he was sitting during the rodeo, sitting there in his truck, had the music blaring, wasn't helping. And so we fired him right then, and Matt Tarr stepped in. So that first year we had you, which however many times Clown of the Year in the NFR, and Matt Tarr, NFR alternate, and Dusty Tuckness all there the very first night. So.
That's awesome.
And you could get a pretty good education at the Cody Night Rodeo in all things because 90 nights of rodeo, I mean, it was magical, especially for me that first year. I didn't have a lot going on in life. I was just got out of college. I was dealing with yet another broken leg. And when I ended up in Cody, Maury said, I'm going to get you a place to stay. That was part of my job. And he's like, yeah, I got you a place to stay. It was the most beautiful area you could ever have for a house. It was on the Shoshone River by a flowing, babbling brook. in a beautiful, beautiful backdrop in a trailer house that was as nasty as the floor of the South Point during the World Series of Team Roping. Like, that place was a little bit ratchet, but I would drive the sound car. If you guys don't know the sound car, if you've ever seen the red car with the horns and the speakers on it, and you drive through town and it's got a microphone, you're like, all right, everybody, don't forget tonight, real Wild West rodeo action starting at 8 o'clock. The Cody Night Rodeo. Beautiful girls on horseback, wild cowboys riding bucking horses. Come see it. Cody is Rodeo. And we would just drive that sound car out, me and Jordan Holland, drinking beer and talking on the old microphone. And I did that till I got fired from the sound car.
Yeah. Well, the reason he got fired is I took my wife to town to eat lunch. And there's a patio. There was a Mexican restaurant right there. And we're sitting there eating lunch, and we hear the sound car coming. And the next thing we know, we see Rump's bare ass out the window. I was mooning everybody on the whole patio, talking on the microphone of the sound car.
It would have been fine, so I start mooning him because we were just going to drive by, but we hit a red light. So I was in front of everybody in the Mexican restaurant with, let's put it this way, we weren't at the bakery, but I had my buns out.
Yeah.
And the funny thing more is like, hey, you can't do that anymore. But I mean, if we think about it, it's kind of your fault for hiring me and Jordan because we are not very reliable people.
That would be true. That would be very true. And for as good a clown as he was, his promotional was not very good.
Can we get Tuck on? Tuck this. Tuckleberry. Well, his promotion, though, was not easy. Like, at the Cody Night Rodeo, you got to put on your clown paint and go down and stand on the corner of the Irma Hotel with a live bull. You have to walk up and down the street. NFR bullfighter, Dusty Tuckness, everybody. The best. So, you know what's funny?
Guys?
Hey, Tuck. The funny thing is, like, looking back, I think a lot of young kids that look at Tuckness, I mean, he's a hero, but they look at him, they don't see what he's done to get to this part of his career. You know, everybody sees the bullfighting awards and being at the NFR, but I'm here to tell you, when me and Tuckness started working for Maury, we were low to mid-level employees, and we would have to go to the museum and hand out pamphlets for the rodeo dressed up as rodeo clowns.
Hey, you know, Maury Tate actually literally saved my life, and we've told this story before. I drove down to Oklahoma with John Pinkerton, one of my first trucking experiences, a truck that didn't break down this time. And we worked all weekend to this bull sale and the classic, and Maury wrote me a check for $75. And to a lot of people this day is like, boy, that's not good. That was the changing of my life. I had $75 to my name, and I was on the up and up.
You probably still have the $75. Probably. But, you know, you got to admit, like, it wasn't all easy because the thing about it is about rodeo clowns in public, like walking around town. I compare it to a bear at the zoo, okay? If you go to the zoo and you see a bear, you're like, hey, there's a bear. That's cool. Of course there's a bear. We're at the zoo. Why shouldn't there be a bear? Hey, let's go look at the bear. Okay? You go to a rodeo. You see a rodeo clown. Hey, cool, rodeo clown. Why not? We're at a rodeo clown. Okay? Now back to the bear. If you see a bear walking down the street in Cody, Wyoming, handing out pamphlets, you're like, why in the hell is there a bear walking down the street? If you're a rodeo clown standing in front of the Irma Hotel with a local group of homeless people holding a live bull, it's a little bit awkward.
We had some interesting times at the Irma, especially with Rock, you know. We weren't allowed to let people on the bull.
Have we ever told that story about?
I don't know.
Tell it. Maury, tell that story.
Well, we had this picture bull, and I'd send it down there, and I'd give them strict orders. I said, do not, under no circumstances, let anyone sit on this bull.
It was a huge bramer, huge horns. His name was Hollywood One.
Yeah.
That was 7 Hollywoods ago.
Yeah, and he was the most awesome. He was gentle, and but I told him, I said, if someone falls off, will be liable. And Rock, which was Rump's adopted son.
I found him in the parking lot at the rodeo and kept him.
Yeah, true story. And they take the bull uptown. And these girls come up and they tell Rock, they said, can we sit on your bull? And Rock said, no, ma'am. No one's allowed to sit on the bull. She said, well, I'll show you my boobs. And he's like, okay, let me get off.
Also a true story.
Yeah.
The first time that I ever made Maury truly bad was because of that bull. Me and Jordan, we went down to the Irma, and the one other rule was don't leave the bull unattended. So we tied the bull to the trash can in the street, and me and Jordan went and had a couple beers and go back out, and the bull was gone. And so we found him down the alley. Well, Jordan, he's like, man, I got to get. So he took the pickup and trailer, and I said, I'm just going to ride this bull back to the rodeo grounds. And I rode that bull down the sidewalk from the Irma Hotel to mostly there, and then he kind of gave out. But even in the days before picture phones, by the time I got back, everybody in Cody knew what was going on. So I'm literally riding a bull down the sidewalk, and I probably would have got away with it, but he pooped all over the sidewalk, and some people didn't think that was very good. But that's Maury. But when Maury would yell at you, it wasn't even really a yell. It was like, hey, yeah, you can't do that. Knock it off, you know. Which I got a lot of those.
You did.
And I didn't deserve most of them.
Well, the best ones when Scuba broke Blueberry.
Oh yeah.
And rode him to the Quick Stop and got beer that night.
Do you ever though at the night rodeo when all these young kids that are just like me and Tuck were just dumb, stupid kids show up to ride and do stuff at the rodeo, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long summer.
Yeah, you know, for me, that's what I enjoy about it the most, is you get kids that come in there and they're so eager, they want to learn, they want a career, they want to please you, and they're just primed to pull a prank on. You know, I mean, but
you're the worst about the pranks though.
Yeah, I know. But I figured up last year, I think currently there is 60 contract personnel members in the PRCA this year that, have gotten their start with us at Cody.
That's awesome.
And it's fun to sit there and see the kids come through and go. And, like Tate Rhodes, he was a bullfighter, and we got him to clowning, and Matt Tarr, and, what y'all have done. And, so that's the most awesome thing about the night rodeo.
Well, and you've had schools up there. These two have had some schools.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rump,
Yeah.
tell us about your first school there when you was going to get out of your allowance and you was going to actually have some money to spend. Let's hear that.
Anyhow, moving right along.
Nope. Maury, tell it. Tell it,
No,
Maury.
let's go down this street more. Let's hear it.
Okay. In 2005, I didn't make
First off, a little history on Rump. If you guys don't know already, this is what's saved his life. His life is a sweet wife, because Rump, he made a lot of money that first summer, but he spent it every night. So Mama Bear, she kind of gives him a little bit of allowance. So me and Rump wanted to put together a big school, kind of where we really had our building foundation. And Rump was like, this is going to be perfect because this isn't going to come out of my allowance. I'm going to have like $4,000 cash.
$6,000.
$6,000, and I can have some fun. Take it away.
Well, what happened was, in 2005, before I was with Ashley, I made a lot of bad decisions financially. You kids today don't know what checks are, probably, because you have your fancy debit cards. I went and got a bank account at Pinnacle Bank, which is sponsored the bareback riding nightly at the Cody Night Rodeo, Pinnacle bareback riding. And that summer, I was like, you know what? Life is short. We're just going to live it up. So like Tuckman said, I would win $400 in the steer wrestling and
spend $600 at the bar that night.
We'd go to the
Didn't map out.
It didn't matter because it was actually a really fun time because I had nothing. I had no house. Well, I had the house that horrible trailer house that Maury rented for us, but I had nothing. It was awesome because me and Jordan Holland and Rock were like, you know what? If one of us has money, we all have money. And we spent pretty much all our money. I think I made the first summer I was there $26,000 not from working for Maury, but steer wrestling. And because the Cody Night Rodeo Finals adds $5,000 before the summer starts, and then $5 of each entry fee goes to the end. So, like, it's actually you can make a lot of money. And when I left Cody, I left there with $325 out of that $26,000. But so I wrote a few bad checks to some different people in Wyoming in 2005 and 6. Well, then I get married, and we get all that. My credit score goes from 400 to 810.
Lie. There's no way.
Well, it is now. I mean, over 15 years. But I forgot that I had some outstanding debt in Cody. Well, the thing about it was my banker in Cody, Tara, was actually a dear friend of the rodeo, and she understands how crummy rodeo guys are sometimes. So instead of like sending it to collections or whatever, she tells the people at the bank, you know, don't worry, he's eventually going to come back, okay? So I get, at the rodeo school, I got these guys, so we charged good, but it was a lot of work, so it was like $500 a person to be in the rodeo clown school. So I got all these checks, and I'm going to take them to Pinnacle Bank and cash them. And I am so excited that I'm going to have all this cash. Like, I had all these plans and stuff I wanted to do. I get there, and there's Tara, and I'm like, ooh. She took about 95% of my $6,000 due to bad checks from years earlier in life. So in the words
of Justin Rumford, it costs nothing to pay attention.
Yeah, that was. But you know what? If you're, I hope you don't let your kids listen to this because it's explicit sometimes. But you know what? I'm glad that I lived through those times, because without those times, I wouldn't get to where I am today.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Tuckness was always very. He was the exact opposite. He knew every day when he wasn't out doing all the stuff that Maury made us do. Him and Shane Proctor, they were building log cabins during the day and rodeoing at night. So when Tuckness, he would like save his money and be responsible with it. So then Tuckness bought a conversion van, a Dodge conversion van, which was just awesome. It had TVs in it. We're going to date ourselves a little bit, Tuck. Okay. In the TVs he had in his van, he had Guitar Hero hooked onto the TVs.
You dang right.
And it was the coolest van ever. I did not have a vehicle at the time, and Maury's semi, of course, was wrecked from the accident, so I didn't really have a way to get around.
From the runaway truck ramp.
So I needed some money one day from Tuckness, and even though he's younger, he's always been like kind of like my dad sometimes, where he's like, you need to make better decisions. And so Maury paid me one day, and we were in Oklahoma at the Bull for Charity, and he paid me like $300, and I'm like, cool. Well, see y'all tomorrow. And Tuck's like, don't spend it. I'm like, man, Tuck, life's short. Do whatever I want. So the next day, I didn't have any money, and I was so hungry. So me and Tuck are in his van. I'm like, hey, dude, can you take me to Subway and buy me a sandwich? He's like, nope. You spent your money. I'm like, Tuck, man, I don't feel good. I was partying last night. Sure could use a footlong. He's like, well, Justin, you need to. I'm like, shut up, Tuck. So he goes, you know what? Okay, I got a deal for you. He had these dog treats in his van because he had a puppy. He said, if you eat these dog treats, I will buy you a footlong. And I'm going to tell you what, you know how dog treats taste? Just like they smell. Delicious. I had to eat 2 of those before you bought me a Subway. So in a way, that's kind of crummy, isn't it?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You went ahead and ate 4 of them. I only said eat 2 of them.
No, I did not. You
did.
That's exaggerating the truth.
Trump.
But the other story where I could kind of lecture on Tuckness, when you think about bullfighters, bullfighting is dangerous, and we've had a lot of guys that have come to the night rodeo that aren't going to make it. Like, that wouldn't make it. They were scared. So, like, a lot of times you have to tell these guys, go to the bulls. Like, don't be afraid. Go to them. Like, you're going to have to get in there. One day when Tuckness first started, it was the exact opposite. Maury had to pull him aside, and he's like, hey, man, you need to back off a little bit. Like, quit trying to fight every bull. Because Dusty when he was 18 years old, he was like that barking dog that's working stock that you have to just jerk back because he was right in the mix. Do you remember that, Tuck?
Oh, I do. Yeah. I would be yelling at him, get back, and I'd be yelling at him. And,
Never heard of him.
And then the gates would open, they'd let the bull out, and he'd come back and he'd say, were you yelling at me? Like, yeah, and there's one bull that we had, a little white muley.
Yeah, 111.
And
that's the first bull I ever jumped in my life.
Every night I would go to that we bucked that bull, I'd say, don't fight that bull. You know, and sure enough, every night, as soon as they'd buck, he'd go to him and fight them. And I'd be yelling at him, and he'd act like he didn't hear me. And
I didn't.
yeah.
There's a lot of crowd noise.
I got my bull. You sound like
You and
What
I
about-
go
what
right
about,
over there and get a hug. Yeah, I'll buy you a beer. Let's
So-
hug. We never
So
hug.
what? Did you ever back to Big Bear here? Did you ever have did he ever cost you a lot of money?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. yeah, I would say he cost me a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah, because you
And,
couldn't sleep because I was calling you middle of the night to tell your truck was broke down again.
Oh, yeah. My wife, it's a wonder she stayed with me through Rump, because every night when he'd take that semi off, I mean, we'd just cringe and hope that it got there. And then we'd wonder how much it was going to cost us, whether blowing tires. You know, he had a bale of hay come off and land on the hood of a car, and then he had tires blow out and hit another car, and somewhere thought it would be a great idea to tape the air hose up with white athletic tape, and that cost us $4,000.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Get a free beer, though, on me if you want one right there.
Yeah.
And Garth Brooks's gate.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have to pay for that, but
I told that story last night I was said on here before, but when I was going to get a load of hay from Garth Brooks in Owasso, Oklahoma with Maury Semi, I got to the gate and I called John Mall, who's Garth's ex-father-in-law who runs his farm there. And he come out and hit a button, and the gates came open, but they were like on a timer, so they go, like for a car, not for a 52-foot drop deck. So when the gate started to shut, I floored it, and that semi and that side of that trailer caught this 50-foot gate and ripped it completely off. And it is halfway on the semi-trailer, halfway on the ground. And I remember thinking to myself, please, for the love of God, don't let Garth pull up. Here comes a dude on a John Deere Gator, and of course it's Garth Brooks. So,
And how were you dressed?
I was dressed like Garth Brooks. Like I wore black Wranglers and the shirt with what's the black and white shirt album? Remember that? Where
the Chase.
The Chase. I am dressed just like Garth as a joke, kind of. And I'm like, son of a gun. So he pulls up and I'm like, hey Garth, big fan. He's like, yeah. He was not really impressed, and we haven't really become friends.
Were you with him, Tuck? Did you go?
He went on a trip or two there.
Yeah, I know I went up there. What was it? Emmett was his ranch hand. I met him. I never was there with Garth, but we went up a couple times to get some load of hay for Maury.
That's why I tell, before we go, I'd say, Tuckness, get in the semi. Because that was, Tuckness got out of the trucking game after we got him handcuffed on the way home from Wyoming for the old hit and run accident in the semi. That's a whole other story. But he come with me one or two times. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much when you talk about celebrities. I don't really have a lot of things I can say about celebrities, but no matter what Garth Brooks does, no matter what I do in life, they cannot take the fact back that I tore off his gate with a semi. So there's that.
You did.
The other time that we cost Maury some money, this is another Tuckness deal. We got shut down in Colorado from the DOT for 10 hours because Tuckness didn't know how to fill out a logbook, and neither did I. Because when I got my CDL, which took weeks, and when we first got, we didn't know anything, so I told Tuckness, I said, hey, fill this logbook out. Well, he filled it out wrong, and you can't deny that.
Only by like an hour.
So we got shut down for 10 hours in Greeley or Fort Collins, Colorado. So I called Jerome Robinson, and I said, could you have somebody drive us off here? So he said, sure. So he sent a guy and drove us to the truck stop where we had to wait for 10 hours, and I was about out of money again. So I'm sitting there on the outside of the truck, and Tuckness is mad. that we're just stuck here because the truck had no air conditioning. We're in the parking lot of the TA, and this dude comes up to me with this magical polish.
It was water and soap in a Sprite bottle.
We don't know that's water and soap.
His business cards were cut out of a beer box.
Well, that's called going green. So this guy's like, hey, I'll sell you this stuff for $20. I'm like, dang, that's a pretty good deal. So I bought this bottle of Sprite from this homeless guy because it kind of worked, and then Tuckness refused to buy me lunch later that day.
And look where you're at now.
You know what, though? I tell everybody, like, the Cody Night Rodeo and all that stuff that me and you have done, it's why we're here right now. Even like with Hambone, a lot of people don't realize, I mean, he's doing big rodeos as sound man and the NFR, but he started off in the back pens, working for Surveys, loading time event cattle. I honestly think there's sometimes that people out there don't realize what it takes to get where you are now, especially with you with what you've been through with breaking the crap out of yourself, and you're back a year later, and what a year that on a side note, that's just inspiring, and I mean that. It's been a wild year for you.
Yeah, it's definitely been quite the year, but just reflecting back what you said with the night rodeo, with the Surveys and that, a lot of people see, like even you two right now, is like, man, you're working on the big rodeos, must be nice, or people. They don't really know the history and what it took to get there. Just the hard work and the dedication and the sleepless nights is what it's all about. And when it comes full circle, it's all worth it. And for me, the night rodeo has been that, like Maury said earlier, he called me out of the blue. I didn't know him. He didn't know me, and gave me an opportunity that at that point I didn't realize that it could turn into what, it has been. But through it all, I felt God had a plan through it all. And that's where the night rodeo means so much to me. And I'd advise every contestant or anybody that's on the personnel side that's really wanting to try to perfect their craft. That's just such a great learning ground to try to go to the next level. And speaking about yourself, I mean, you went to Cody with no intentions to find your niche, and here you are, 10-time Clown of the Year, and just going wherever you want and working however much you want.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Did I ever tell you about I just met Dusty. I haven't known him, very long at all. And we had to go to Walmart.
There you go.
Yeah, we had to go to Walmart. And I asked Dusty, I said, do you want to go to Walmart with me? And he's like, yeah. We go to Walmart and we get a cart. We're walking side by side, and I see this little old lady walking up there, and I stopped her, and I said, ma'am, could you tell me and my friend where the Vaseline is?
Last time I ever went shopping with Maury.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The other
That's
time
hilarious.
The other time that I kind of let Maury down, one of my favorite stories is when I was trucking, I'd get bored. And so, because it's a long way from Apache, Oklahoma to Cody, Wyoming, and then back and forth and back and forth. So, and Ashley doesn't let me do it anymore, but I used to love to pick up hitchhikers just to help pass the time. Well, in the semi that Maury had, the Strawberry Love Bucket, that's what it was called. I picked up this hitchhiker, but the cigarette lighter on the front wouldn't work. So if you had to charge your phone, you had to put it in the sleeper. So if you're by yourself and your phone rang, you had to hold one. You had to set the cruise and hold on with your left hand and reach around with your right to try to grab your phone to answer it. Well, there's this guy, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. He had long hair and a guitar, and he's just sitting on the side of the road, and I about wrecked the semi trying to stop. So, so where are you headed? He said, Northern Wyoming. I said, no shit, me too. Get in. So he gets in, and he was especially dirty, smelly traveler.
So he fit right in.
So he goes, I said, what's your name? He goes, well, my name is Steve, but the ladies call me. So what's that? And he said, the Strawberry Love Bucket. Like, okay, so whatever. So we're cruising along, and he's like, hey, man, I'm so tired. Do you mind if I get in the back? I said, yeah, go ahead. So he crawls in the sleeper where my phone is.
Nasty.
Maury calls me, and my hitchhiker answers the phone when Maury called. And So then all of a sudden, here comes the strawberry love bucket, and he hands me the phone. He's like, "It's for you, man." Of course it is. You don't have a phone. So I go, "Hello?" And Maury's like, "Hey, who is that?" I'm like, "It's a hitchhiker." He's like, "Oh, I wish you would do that." But the funny thing is that truck started breaking down that day. Finally, the hitchhiker asked me to pull over and drop him off because he was pretty sure the semi wasn't going to make it where we were going. But we didn't. So I trimmed off on the hitchhikers after that.
Yeah, you did.
But these two guys too, the pranks though, not just at the rodeo, at the ranch. Tuckness, tell them about when you got me electrocuted at Maury's house.
Yeah. So we're hanging gates and doing a bunch of welding at Maury's arena at the house, and Maury's got this old guy, Danny, that's his welder, builds his gates. He's a good old guy, used to kind of ride bulls and just likes to tell rodeo stories. And me and Rump are helping him with these gates, and his ground connection isn't like a clamp. It broke off, so it's just a piece of sheet metal in the shape of a hook. So we've got it hooked on the fence. Well, Danny, he's got the ground and the welder line, stretched as far as it can go. So every time he tried to strike it, it barely would arc, just barely. And I'm like, and Rump, he's just standing there like normal. And Danny's like, "Tuck, grab that ground and move it closer to me." And I was like, "All right." And I walked over there and I was like, I looked over at Danny and he's still trying to strike it. And Rump was standing there. I said, "Hey, Big Bear, grab that ground and move it closer to Danny." Okay. He no more or less grabs that thing, and Danny strikes it and just, it just locked him down in his tracks. And I go to laughing, and we get the ground moved, and a couple minutes later, Rump comes over. He goes, "Hey, Tuck, you know the expression shocked the crap out of you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll be right back."
Yeah. You literally got me electrocuted and thought it was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
That was, and that's the bad thing, like with Maury. Like, I've got pranks that I've saved up in my head. Like, I have pranks that I want to pull on Maury. I just don't want to have to deal with when it happens.
Yeah, Rump, for those of you that don't know, he's terrified of snakes.
Yeah.
So one
True.
time he's announcing, and him and my announcer was going to switch, and my announcer was going to clown. Well, Dusty, at Cody, they have a
Berg,
big,
you remember?
yeah, they have a big grandstand, and the announcer stand is, 50 foot up in the air, and
At least.
it's bolted from the top, so it's just hanging there. Well, Dusty, he crawls on top of it. He has a rubber snake, and Rump,
Well, what happened first on that is Ferg, he had the snake, and he had some fishing wire. Because Ferg's an avid fisherman. So our original plan was we was just going to throw that line over and hang it above the window, and Ferg tied it off, and we told Big Cat that, hey, when Rump gets in there announcing, just step outside and undo that knot, let that snake drop on his head. Well,
That's hilarious.
as Rump's starting to head towards the announcer stand, Ferg comes to me in a panic. He's like, "Tuck, the wire broke," and there's like 4 feet left on it. And I was like, "Stall him." So I take off up the announcer stand, and I climb up on top of it. And it is a long ways up there. And I look down, and everybody kind of knows what's going on. Ferg gets him hemmed up for a second, and Rump, he's, big announcer guy. He's walking up there, and I'm crouched down up top. And as soon as he gets in there, I hear the door shut, and, Rump, he's, "Hey, guys, hey, how's it going? Yeah, today's the day. Oh, yeah, you got it, yeah." Well, I kind of peek over the announcer stand, and everybody down low is looking up. And old Big Bear, he gets ready, and he sticks out that window a little bit, and I just ease that snake down. I just let it tap just on the top of his brim. And he looks up, and I back up, and I am not kidding you. This announcer stand I thought was going to the ground. He flipped out of his stool, bounced his head off the wall, bust the door open. Well, Matt Tarr, my partner in crime, is gone. And I look, and I'm like Garfield. I'm just locked onto this announcer stand thinking we're going to hit the ground. And I look over, and Rump looks up, and he sees it's me. And if looks could kill, I'd be dead. And for some odd reason, there's a 4-foot piece of a 4x4 piece of wood. And Rump looks at it, grabs it, and he goes to throw it at me. And the only thing that I could do is say, Rump, if you miss me and hit a innocent bystander in the stand, there's a lawsuit. And that's the only thing I think that kept him from throwing that piece of wood at me, knocked me off it. But Big Bear was not a happy bear at all.
That was probably, we've been friends, close friends. That was the only time in my life where I wanted to physically kill you. Like,
What about my
mad.
prank I got you last year with you and Shandon's videos that you were texting back and forth?
Oh, my God, that was terrible. Like, Tuckness at different places. You know, I've been trying to set Tuckness up with a lovely young lady for years. We've made bets about if Tuckness...
No. There was no we. You made bets.
We
We.
made...
Oh, you.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
the proverbial we.
Tuckness kind of was dating a lady, and so when I would see Tuckness at these rodeos, I would always try to film it because we have a text group with all of our people, with John and Garrett and everybody, and so I'm always looking for good content for our group text, and so, but every time I was around, Tuckness is like a scared cat, like, because he knows that I'm always trying to follow him around. Well, so anyhow, he was at a different rodeo, and so the pickup man, Shannon Stalls, who's just happy as can be all the time, he's filming Tuckness with his girlfriend, and he was filling water buckets for her barrel horse, and I was like, this is gold. I have got him caught. Like, I was so proud of myself. So I sent it to the friend group, and I'm like, got him. You know, I'm waiting for everybody to be like, good one, Rump, man, that's hilarious, yeah. Tuckness sent me the longest text message ever and pretty much said in the text how hurtful that was and how we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, I used some pretty vulgar language that I don't usually say, and I actually was talking to John and Carla through this, and I actually had everything. I
called John, and John was my first call. I'm like, John, I don't know what to do. I was like, I think me and Tuckness are breaking up.
Yeah.
And he was in on the joke. He's like, dude, you screwed up. He's pissed.
Well, so I had this text wrote up already. I was waiting for him to send some more videos, and he didn't for like a couple weeks, and all of a sudden he sent one. So I texted John and Carla, and I said, I got him. So I texted to him, and then John's like, why not delete yourself out of the group message? And he said, that'll really hit him. So I texted him, deleted myself out of the group message, and boom, my phone rings. So I ignore it. Phone rings again. I ignore it again. This goes on 3 or 4 times. Well, I'm going to let it marinate for a day or two. Well, Carla FaceTimes me in a panic. She's like, Mama Bear has called me. Rump is in tears. He's about to go into a performance. Mama Bear's on the fight. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And I'm like, no, let's let it string out. She's like, Tuck, you don't understand. Like, Mama Bear hates you right now. And so then I sent him the emoji back that got him. And Big Bear, he hadn't gave me crap in a while.
Well, that's another part of the prank. Like, I don't want to. Your guys' pranks are harder than mine's. Like, haha, you tripped, you fell. It's funny. But your guys like, let's hire undercover police officers and rent a van and you know, like, your guys' pranks are bad. But you know what? I was scared when you said we weren't friends anymore, because one thing about me, no matter my flaws in life, I love my friends. I love my friends, you know? So when I thought we weren't going to be friends, I was like, how's this going to work at rodeos? You know, like, what do you do? Because I'm friends with so many people, even, you know, so like, I was hurt, but I do feel bad that John and Hambone and Casey Harp and, you know, my guys, every time something goes wrong, I'm like, I need help.
Well, your pranks always backfire on you. You know what I mean? You try to prank somebody and it goes against you. It seems like the hot dollar bill and you know, all
that one. Your magic trick. You want to show the fans here your magic trick?
Scott, do you have a $100 bill?
I do.
$1 works.
Nah, I'm not going to do that one. The worst prank was, though, with Reno Rosser, and he was cruising around here earlier. You know how high the steps are on a fifth-wheel RV? They're higher than that. Reno folded up my steps at Oakdale one year, and then he calls me and goes, we had bull riding slack, right? Well, I've never worked a rodeo where they have bull riding slack, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning. And if you've ever been to Oakdale, California, there's a place there called the H. Barbie Bar, which is a really fun place to be in life. And so at 7:55, he calls me. He goes, dude, you got to get up. We have slack bull riding. You got to be out there right now. I'm like, oh, crap. So I jumped out and threw that door open and went to step where the steps usually are. No steps. Dislocated my shoulder. Didn't hurt so much here, but right in this region. So then I try to prank back, and it's just never as good.
Yeah, you want to tell them about when you pranked Cade and how you got your paybacks there?
No, I don't want to tell that. It's pretty gross.
Do it. Tell it, Maury.
Yeah, well, Cade, yeah, I'll tell it.
I mean, like, yeah, PG-13.
Yeah, Cade Rogie, my announcer, he came and he was leaving, and he stopped and told everyone bye. Well, Rump, he goes and gets in his camper and relieves himself and doesn't tell him and doesn't
He was a
flush.
rookie.
Yeah.
That was his hazing.
So his camper sits for 3 months, and his wife goes to get it to go on a camping trip, and it was rank in there.
Found the turd from 3 months earlier.
Yeah, from Rump. And he's like, you got to help me get even with him. So at Cody the next year, he was coming there over the 4th of July, and they have these nice commemorative rifles. And I said, yeah, we'll get him. So I get the president of the Stampede Board, Mike Darby, and Boyd, and they call Rump the 4th of July. It's sold out. There's probably 8,000 people there. And they get Rump out in the arena, and they go to talking about how he got his start at the night rodeo and all of his accolades that he had won, and how this is where he, got started. And they had a special award, and they hand him this knife rifle box, and Boyd tells him to open it up and hold it so they can take a picture. And Rump opens that thing up, and there's a live snake comes crawling out right over on Rump.
That's the only time I ever said the F word over the microphone.
Yes, he did, and took off.
I ran so fast, I ran into the buck and shoots head first and almost knocked myself. But you know what I hate about snakes more than anything? If people find out you don't like snakes, what's the first thing they try to do? Find a damn snake and put it on you. That's how I almost got my hip broken in Pasadena, Texas, because the Frontier guys put a snake in the side pocket of my barrel, right? So during the rodeo, we're bucking bulls, and this bull kind of comes by, and for some reason I run my hand kind of down the deal, and it almost goes in and into the pocket, and I kind of see the pocket move. I'm like, no, whatever. Well, so I look up, I'm like, probably it's nothing. It didn't. When you go to drop down real quick, things start going pretty quick. So they're bucking this bull, and I look down, and this snake me and this snake are locked eyes. And he was a big, I don't know what kind of, probably a Burmese python that are indigenous to South Texas. The snake's looking at me, and there ain't a
indigenous.
Here's the thing about it is, me and that snake, there ain't a lot of room in that barrel for me. And you put a snake in there, and I looked at that snake, and the snake looks back, and the snake, he was just as confused as I was. The snake probably didn't figure out how he got in a damn clown barrel, but I jumped, and when I say I jumped, I elevated, out of the barrel, and right when I jumped out of the barrel, I ran head first into the bull that was bucking. Me and this bull hit each other, and I had to go to sports medicine, so I guess that's kind of a claim to fame. I got hooked trying to get away from a snake. And the thing was, my friends were like, oh, are you okay, buddy? Man, we're so sorry that we put a snake. Everybody was laughing so hard while I was getting hooked. And turns out they had to get the snake. He went back down the barrel. They had to it's a whole deal. But you know what, though? You know what else I'm scared of? Kittens. Ooh. I'm not scared of snakes anymore. So instead of bringing a snake around me, if you bring a cute, fluffy kitten, I will freak out. Just for the record, from now on.
This is coming from a guy who has a huge cat shirt.
I do. It's not so bad. But snakes, here's the deal between, have I ever told you my theory on snakes and bears?
No.
Here's why I'm not scared of bears, okay? Bears are big and mean and can kill you. However, you're not ever out in your pasture, fixing fence, you're not ever ranching or doing something where you're like, oh God, a bear. You are with that, like where you can't see snakes. That's why I'm scared. If I see a snake right there, I'm not going to freak out because I can see him. I just don't like.
The one right there.
I don't. No, there's not. And I don't want to walk up on a snake. I'd rather walk up on a bear. Ham bone. Because at least with a bear, I slapped a bear when I was in 5th grade. So, I mean, I have a pretty good shot at a bear. Even though you tried to leave me with a bear in the woods one time.
And? Did you die?
No, but when you did that thing where you jumped out and I thought it was a bear, you got to admit, I spun around ready to fight.
Oh, yeah, you spun around all right, but that's about it. 2 types of movement, physical movement and bowel movement, and you did both of them.
Well, but what I'm saying is when I did spin around and I thought you were a bear, I come fist first. Remember? That's exactly.
I don't remember that.
That's exactly how it happened. I will tell you, though, I do have several pranks for both of you guys lined out. But as long as you don't do it to me, I won't do it back. So on this Rump Chat, where we have people here physically watching and all the people that are listening, let's just make a truce between the 3 of us for the rest of time.
Hey,
Nope.
let's go back to one of the old podcasts when we were at the Harrison's house. Remember when we went around the table and just asked a question?
Yeah.
And Rump really never answered my question, the 2-part question. Your most favorite contractor to work for and the one that you don't like working for. You never did answer that.
He did.
Can you repeat the question?
He said it's the same one,
ELE.
but he wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Who's your favorite stock contractor to work for?
You know who my favorite stock contractor to work for is God, because he supplies all the stock. Without him, we wouldn't have horses and bulls. So, are you that?
The grass is green, stir lush up high.
No, I like working for a lot of stock contractors, but the thing about it is, each one makes them special. Okay, it's like when they say, "How can you don't have a favorite kid? You love them all the most in different ways." So, like, you wouldn't ask me to say my favorite child because my triplets, I love them all as much as possible. They're all my favorite in different areas. Okay.
As much as possible? Did you just say that?
Well, no, I mean, like, more than possible. Shut up, Tuck. What I'm saying is I do have a favorite. And
they're here in Las Vegas.
yeah, like,
Okay.
I'm going to be completely honest and open. My favorite stock contractor to work for is Flying U. Like,
You're wearing a P-car hat.
I know. Pete Carr's number 2. But I love. But here's the deal. No, I'm being honest. Like, I'm not gonna. I love Pete Carr rodeos, but I love working for Flying U because of all the different things we get to do with their productions. With the motorcycle jumpers and Manu Lataste, the Frenchman bull jumper, and I love from a production standpoint getting to go to the West Coast and going to places. I've got the rodeo in East Los Angeles. Me and Hambone worked a rodeo in Monterey, California, where at a venue where Jimi Hendrix burnt his guitar on stage. So I mean, like I said, working for different stock contractors, each one is cool for that venue. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say this is my favorite, just like rodeos. And I hate that question. What's your favorite rodeo? Well, indoor rodeo, big rodeo, small rodeo. I mean,
They all have their niche.
it's like that old country music song, big, little, or short or tall. Wish I could have kept them all. I love them, everyone. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. So I don't think you can just say one thing or the other. You can love more than one rodeo. You can love more than one rodeo company. Because at the end of the day, here's what really matters, folks. When I go out in that arena and I see a young boy on the front row enjoying his very first rodeo and smiling, to me, that's what's really important. Rebuttal? Tuck?
Boy, have I heard that before.
Yeah, no kidding.
Actually, let's get John up here for a second. Tuck, you go
Come on,
sit down.
John.
You go sit somewhere else. John Boy, come up here.
John Harrison, NFR bullfighter,
Bullfighter.
Triple Crown winner this year, and the reigning clown of the year.
John, I got to
The
tell you,
reigning clown of the year.
I was pulling for John.
He was my biggest fan. Give me a big old bear hug.
I tell you one thing. Why I
Raise
love,
your hand if you won clown of the year this year.
I'm more than happy for John. Why does everybody keep saying that?
Because it's just funny because you've won 10 in a row.
It's the Justin Rumford Award.
Yeah.
On the way that night to the awards banquet, I told Ashley, I said, I hope John Harrison wins because he deserves it. And I was so proud last night. Like last night, you clowns at the NFR, and you've clowned the NFR since it moved to Vegas pretty much. How did that whole go when the lights went out? Were they like, John?
Well, no, I was, so I actually got to do something before. We got to use the microphone. So we had the Simicam. We went out and we did that. So it was awesome to be able to talk on the microphone there. But as soon as you came out of the arena, they take the mic and it's gone. So then the
I don't know
power.
where it went.
Well, I know. I don't know where it went, but I didn't have the guy's number to call him. So anyway, power went off and yeah, we just went to see what we could do to help. And we decided to do the cell phone thing. And
Were you just sitting in the locker room when they come back there? Or?
no, I actually, I didn't really know what happened, and because we just seen it like flicker, and so then everybody's like, maybe you should go, and I was like, I can hear Randy and them talking, so then we took off.
Yeah, he came up and we just started brainstorming what can we do and how can we do it without a microphone. And so we went old school, and because the crowd had already kind of started to do the wave.
Yes, they started the wave.
So John helped with that, and I'm like, he's going to get tired running in circles.
I did.
And then
Really
we tried to do some other things, sang, and then he came back up.
And the whole time, Hambone's got. Tell him about the ears that you wear and who you're talking to.
Yeah, I got TV in this ear. It's one headset, and then I've got all the house technical people in this ear, and then I'm talking to people on the deck, and it was sheer madness.
It was chaos for a little bit.
But we're pros. It's what we do. It was actually exciting, and
it was kind of fun when it's all done.
was.
And then you could be like you're there the nights went out in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the other hot memes. But, you were the first rodeo clown since Flint to get a microphone in the arena. And I think
Isley was the last one.
Isley. But I think that proved a good point.
And it wasn't?
Or Lurwell. I don't know.
Lurwell, that's right.
It proved such a good point that, the importance of a rodeo clown or more an entertainer, because those things do happen. So I thought last night was very special for all of us in the business. And even, Maury, just like we talked about how you hiring entertainers, when you have that whole Coliseum full of people and there's nothing going on, you still got entertained. So I feel like if anything good can come from the great blackout of Las Vegas in 2022, John Harrison emerges victorious for rodeo clowns everywhere.
Thanks, buddy.
Was you nervous when you went out there?
Oh my! Yeah, you don't have a mic, so it's just you can't banter back. That's your go-to as a rodeo clown. You want to talk to the announcer, and you can carry on a conversation if you need to. And usually something comes of the conversation is getting some laughter out of it. But it's kind of hard to entertain without a mic.
So today at the meeting, did they say maybe let's keep a mic just on the production deck, or?
I might have stayed out too late, and I missed the meeting this morning.
Why'd you stay out late? Did you have a good time?
I won money at the South Point last night. We won money. Usually, if I lose money and my wife wins, we still win. And last night we both won. So it was a good night.
So how much?
Don't be jealous.
How much are we talking that you won?
$2,500.
That's it?
$2,300. $2,700.
We're not counting.
That's how much fun I had. I don't remember.
You won in the hundreds for sure. But and also the other stat we were trying to think of for John is something that the Triple Crown with Clown of the Year, Specialty Act of the Year, Coors Man the Can, and NFR.
Yes, 4 buckles.
Has that been done once?
Flint. Yep.
Flint's the only one?
Yep. Keith won Triple Crown, which is really cool because Keith's the one that really helped me get started in the acts and stuff. We gave me my trick riding act. So then whenever we're on stage, I'd won Clown of the Year, which I was like, oh my gosh, I have a chance at this. And anyway, right before they call, he leans over and he's like, welcome to the club, buddy. And so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It was very cool.
Flint's a decent clown, I guess.
Yeah, he does all right. He opens some doors for us.
It's okay. Oh, man. I tell you what, though, you don't have to call anybody out individually, but you are behind the scenes in the locker room. The locker room of the NFR is always exciting in the rough stock rooms.
Yes.
How has the feel been behind the scenes?
Well, last night the field was pretty wet. Our locker room is the Grand Central Station for the bathroom. Like everybody comes into our locker room, which is about the size of the stage, and it's constant flow of people going to the bathroom. So we had a little flood last night.
Oh.
And so I took a piece of paper and right across the door, like you had a duct to go through, a bathroom out of order. And I think it's gonna be out of order all week, I think.
Well, the first locker room, you go back up the tunnel and you go right. The first locker room is the flag girls. So obviously you're not going to go in there, right? The next one is theirs. So it's just,
We're next.
it's just what it is.
The stock contractors need a porta potty in their room.
Yeah, but they have the keg of beer, which causes to go pee.
So they got the beer and we have the bathroom. So it does not make sense.
You know, they said that back in the old days of the NFR that they used to keep a keg of beer in the bullfighter room,
Yes.
but not anymore.
No. And so Michael Gahn comes in one night and he's like, where's the beer? I'm like, they took it away from us, Mike. He said, I'll get it back in here tomorrow night. And I'm all like pumped up, like we're going to have beer for after the rodeo. And he comes back in next night and he goes, there's some things in this town that Michael Gahn can't get done. And that's beer in the locker room. It's like, well, dang.
I guarantee I could sneak in a keg of beer for you somehow.
Game on. You sneaking in down there, period, would be difficult.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. Security's a little tight around there, huh?
So Mary's not here this year, but if you've ever been down in the bottom of the Thomas and Mack, there's a lady named Mary that will be like, hey, John, and she grabs your badge and looks at it still. Like every time. And same way with the contestant. It don't matter, Bulldogger walking through there, and he's got the jacket on, she has to fill the back number. I think she really enjoyed her job because she always did the old hand up the back of the jacket to make sure and she would grab a Bulldogger back of the jacket and say, come here. Like, Mary meant business. Nope.
I remember her.
Yeah.
And then did they still have the guy that polices the hall?
Oh, yeah.
Like you have to have if you go from the bullfighter room to sports medicine,
Yep.
even if you're in full clown attire, you still have to wear your pass?
Pretty much. And then I breached security this week once. I already lost my credential. And so now there's like a list. They're looking for somebody trying to sneak in. Butch Knowles did it too, so I didn't feel so bad.
So did you get fined for that?
No, I don't think management found out. I kind of got around it.
Well, Alan actually listens to this show, so.
Uh-oh. Hi,
Actually,
Alan.
let's try to get him fined for that. Will you? Since he won Clown of the Year, let's make him pay.
So let's look at our celebrity league here.
Oh yeah, because John is in the tattoo league.
Rump made big moves. You are second.
How, he was at the bottom of the pack at the beginning of the week.
I am fourth. There's only, between me and number one, there's only $3,000 difference. So it's tight. And then John, let me scroll down. Scrolling. John Aaron.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Where are you?
Like, I don't know.
So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, in our tattoo league, whoever wins, the number one guy.
You're sixth.
Sixth. Okay, that's not
The
bad.
number one guy.
Undervalued Raccoons is your team name.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, but
So my wife actually gave me the idea. You know, like when you type in something on a cell phone and your word automatically pops up? So that's what I did. I just went, brr, and it came up undervalued, and then I hit space, and it went, brr, and it came up raccoon. That's my team name.
so that might give me some incentive because in Pro Fantasy Rodeo Tattoo League, the number one guy at the end of the finals gets to pick a tattoo for the number 15th guy. If I win and John Harrison loses, I get to pick his tattoo.
Which concerns me.
And the location. But it can't be anywhere like you have,
Not on the forehead.
No.
Right.
But I've already got my tattoo picked out for you if I win. And it'll be classy, Carla, don't worry. It'll be nice. It's not going to be anything you can be afraid of. And then
So hold on. Can I know about what is the tattoo?
I
will show you when the time comes.
I don't think you have anything to worry about because J.B. Mooney is last. I don't know who. I think he picked Murtis Deitman as a bull rider or something. I don't know who he's got on his team. And Jeff Metters is second to last.
So if you don't want the tattoo, you can pay the money and get out of the tattoo. But I would say, JB, he's going to get it.
He's
going to get it.
Do you know what the buyout is this year, though?
What?
In the past that we've done the tattoo league, it's $1,000 if you don't get the tattoo.
That's what it is. It's not 5,000.
Unless Rump loses, then it's
It's not 5,000.
I'm working for Pro Fantasy Rodeo. It's $5,000. I double checked.
No.
It is $5,000. It's 5,000. But you know what? You should do the tattoo anyway. Like, it'll be classy. It'll be nice.
I think, but if you do get the tattoo, then the benefit, the team gets 10,000, whoever your charity is.
Yeah. When I got my tattoo, with everybody that like matched it, so I think, now I could be wrong on this, but I think that they gave away $10,000, but some other sponsors, when they seen that actually went through with the tattoo, we got to give $20,000 to Brooks Blossoming Hope for childhood cancer research in Corpus Christi, Texas.
That is awesome.
So that was pretty cool. Plus, Flint won that year, so does everybody know Flint designed my tattoo on my leg, which is a clown barrel with the NFR logo. It was actually pretty classy.
I want to know what the tattoo is. Everything's got a price. I mean, obviously, things you do for money.
Yeah.
So I mean, for 10,000, I would probably get a tattoo depending on what you'd pick. Like,
What would you get a leg tattoo?
a leg tattoo?
Like on your calf?
Maybe. I mean,
Oh, my
like
God.
what? Of what?
It better be really small because it's pretty much calves and no chicken legs.
What would the tattoo be?
John's knee braces cover up most of his legs. What would the tattoo be?
Yeah. What?
See, look at that logo right there. Just by people out. How many people would like to see a RümpChät tattoo on John Harrison's leg? Raise your hands high.
Carla.
Yes.
No.
All right. So, Mike, get ready with that. Going back to pranks real quick. We're going to try. Hopefully this works. We talked about this the other day. So, one performance at Denver, Rump always comes out and he dances around, does the splits, gets up, kicks his foot up on the top rung of the fence.
Super flexible.
I'm not showing that picture. But so afterwards, excuse me, we get with Leon Vick, our boss there at Denver, Boyd and I do, and we are going to shame the guts out of Rumford because we want him to tell this whole room of people why he didn't go kick his leg up on the fence. Because when he did the splits,
I
his
split.
pants, let's just say there's some marks.
I have a difficulty.
So, Mike, we'll try this. Go ahead and roll it. Okay.
Nothing pisses me off more than laziness. Okay? It's okay to make a mistake. Make a mistake trying. Right. Okay? We come off the military night. We're all in a good mood. We had a great show. We know that the perf today is going to be a tug, right? We're holding that forward. And I think the person in this room knows who they are, but you can't go half-ass. The people that bought tickets deserve every bit of show that the ones that are going to be here on Saturday night get. Can't take the freaking day off, okay? Still expect to get paid. Stu was outstanding with his pictures. And we asked him to, but there was a point in this rodeo where we could have had this crowd eat out of the palm of our hand on FFA day. And one of our players got lazy. One of our team members took the day off.
Is the greatest.
Rodeo on that day.
He's been telling us that somebody in this room has let us down. And everybody in there is going, oh my God, trying to think in their head, did I do something wrong? And at this point, go ahead.
I don't know why you didn't go over there and kick your leg up for Jonah's wife. But that was you fucker.
I couldn't hold it in. And he was so scared, and I started giggling.
Quit playing pranks on me.
So that was just another good point of a prank gone wrong for Rumford.
I don't want any. Let's like I said earlier. Let's all make a pact. Even you, John Boy. No more pranks. Let's all just get along. Maury, can we do that? I mean, can we make that piece? No.
No.
Son of a gun. Get off my stage.
Oh, well, we just thank you, Mike Frost. Frostview.
Wait, time out. Before we end up, I also talked to Frost Vision. We actually have, you want to make fun of me all the time? I've got a pretty good picture from you at Cowboy Prom. Can we put the prom picture up there?
No way. Yes.
Okay.
Which one am I?
See the dumb kid on the front with the sunglasses?
Oh, yeah. I'm cool. Look
Laying on the floor looking like Zach Morris from
Oh my gosh.
Saved by the Bell.
When
That is Josh Hambone Hilton in high school at prom.
I was a freshman, I got that jacket from the discount store.
You look like a bad advertisement for Abercrombie and Fitch in that video.
That was like 1999.
That is so new, kid.
I look good
You do not look good.
He is laid out there like stud muffin too. Like
with my white K-Swiss.
Lame. All right, now we
All
can
right,
wrap
let's
it
get
up.
out of here. Okay. Well, let's give these guys John Harrison, NFR Barrel Man,
Thank y'all.
36-time award winner, and the great Maury Tate, Mo Betta Pro Rodeo.
Thank you, Maury.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, will you give me a beer before you go? There you go. Yep, gold buckle.
Okay.
Hey, we got a big opportunity tonight.
Did you bring whiskey?
Oh no! But I got gift cards in my pocket. Hold on.
all good.
Pendleton Whiskey brings us here every day. We have
Yep.
drink cards. These
Red
are
River Arenas is right over here. We want you guys to go see them for all your panels, game feeders. They've got everything. RedRiverArenas.com. They're giving away scholarships to kids. So if you've got kids in high school or even all the way up to junior and college, they will give you some money. So RedRiverArenas.com. Pete Carr Pro Rodeo. What else?
we got to give away our Pendleton Whiskey tickets. Okay,
These are good for at the Whiskey Bar trailer.
right here
Near the
downstairs.
stage on the first floor.
And we
By
got
the
two,
live stage.
we got 2 gold buckle tickets to tonight's rodeo, and you have to be a diehard Rump Chat fan. You have to listen to every episode to know this, okay? So the Rump Chat question of the day for 2 gold buckle tickets for tonight's rodeo. Many times I talk about how great I was steer wrestling and riding broncs and being cool. I was Rookie of the Year in the Kansas High School Rodeo Association. Does anybody know what year that was? 96, that's right, we got a winner.
Hey.
Holy crap, you're good. All right, question number 2. I don't know if you really won. How much do I weigh? Enough. Okay. Well, you're going to be our winner tonight. We're going to pass around, hand those out. Thank you guys for coming
You
out.
want some free Pendleton whiskey? Come on
Free
up.
Pendleton Whiskey, come up here. We got Pete Carr t-shirts.
And
We will see
Pendleton
y'all
whiskey.
tomorrow. Or unless you
Oh, yeah, Matt Birch is on tomorrow.
Mighty Matt Birch. Tomorrow's one you're not going to want to miss. Probably leave the kids at home for that one.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll see you. Rump Chat.
I'm your